December morning. Cutting some big pasture trees this morning. Dad's starting on his first one. I just finished gassing up and getting my saw ready. I'm gonna go over here and start on this other big brute that I'm afraid it ain't gonna be any good anyway, but it needs to be cut. My warmness this morning is sponsored by John Deere. I will say this, Caterpillar didn't give me a coat when I bought a cat skid steer. John Deere did though. What Dad's cutting on there. A lot of these big pasture trees out here. This guy over here is the one I'm going to start on. It's a wonder these trees are in as good a shape as they're in, which some of them ain't going to be any good at all, like this one here. Lightning's just worked it over too much. You see daylight through it. We'll just leave it there. It still puts leaves on them, still makes walnuts, as you can see. And it ain't going to be no good for a log, and it'd be just that much more I have to clean up. Now this big brute here, I don't know how good it's going to be either, honestly. And I'll show you why. Right there. Right there. But that is a big tree. Now I'm going to cut it, because it's in bad shape, and hopefully we can get a little bit of material out of it. And it ain't going to get any better, but that one over there is just too far gone. This one behind it's a heck of a tree right there. And there's some good ones out through here. You can't hardly see anything because of the fog. Later today I'll try to move equipment. I was gonna set up my tripod today to do some filming on these, but I can't seem to find my tripod. I go through those things frequently, it seems like. I've got another at the house, so I'll be sure to bring it tomorrow. But for now, we'll see if we can get this guy on the ground. Change of plans. We're gonna cut this one first. This big tree, I'm pretty sure it's gonna want to come back into this one, hard as it leans. And no machines here to kind of persuade it otherwise. This being the better tree, we don't want to take any chances. So as soon as Dad gets this one down over here, which he's clipping the spurs now, we'll get this guy on the ground. They don't look that big until you get up to them. When you get up to them, you realize how big they really are. Even like that one Dad cut, it doesn't look that big, especially compared to this one, but this thing's a hog. It really cut good. Of course, I've already rounded the butt and shaved it, but oh, if I can do this without tipping over. This is a 25-inch bar on my 661. See, we're going to about the center of the tree there. I expect up here at 12 foot it'll be probably 25 or 26 inches. Maybe a little bigger than that, I don't know, because it's big. Right in here's where it needs to be cut, right there behind that first knot or limb. I've got it shaved down, and we'll have another good 10-foot piece above it, and probably an 8 and a 7 on up there. So for pasture trees, it's a pretty good size. Of course, we got the stump down here on the ground. They can run right over it with a brush hog when they mow this, which I doubt they ever have to brush hog this in here with all the cattle. They keep it pretty well eaten down, but low stumps. What uses so much gas on these trees is getting all the top worked up real small. That way we get over here later today with the skid steer, we start cleaning this up with a grapple, these piles will be real tight and compact. They'll look really good as finally as these tops are cut up. Are we going to take any bets on how this thing cuts? I don't know. Dad doesn't think it'll be worth cutting. I don't know if it will be or not, but it ain't gonna get any better. And I'm a bit of a gambler, so I don't know how it's gonna cut. So place your bets right now. What do you think? What do you think? How do you think it's gonna cut? I'm betting I'm betting up top it's going to cut off solid up there, but I bet we're going to see a bad spot here in the stump. Let's get her on the ground. So far, so good. Good sawdust. Nothing dead coming out, no soft spots. That's a good sign. We still got a lot of boring to go. We just got the front half punched out right here. I'm going to leave this hole. We're going to come back in around to this back side. We'll leave a little bit of this back, hold it up, and I'll clip the front. Alright. We'll get a clip, it's all bored out. It seems to be cutting solid in the butt. Let's see what happens when it hits the ground. I hate that we don't have the tripod today for this, and there's nowhere to even set my phone. So here we go. Too slow on my camera. I couldn't quite reach the center. I tried, but that little sliver was holding me up. I needed my long bar for this tree. Of course, we shaved quite a bit off to get in there, and it's not a pretty cut at all, and I knew last night that I should have got my long bar before I headed over today. That's not too bad though, that's all we got, and that doesn't go anywhere. That can knuckle deep. Boy, what a tree, what a beast. Well, that sure surprised me. I thought that that thing would be a little bad in the butt, which I guess it is, but all things considered, it's not really that bad at all. Really didn't bust up on impact. These cold mornings like this walnut, it gets really brittle, which it busts easy anyway, but when it's really cold, it's a good way just to bust them into 1,000 toothpicks. So it's going to take a while to get this top trimmed up, but we got quite a few pieces out of this tree. Even this one limb here will make a pretty good log. Good 7-footer. A lot of material there. Well, that sure surprised me how big it was. Of course, like I said, I clipped my ears and it wasn't wanting to fall, so I trimmed them completely off, trying to get up in there further. Just wouldn't really know where to go. It's definitely not one of my best cutting jobs, but we got it down. Seven trees, about 11:30. Takes a lot of time to cut these big trees, and when you get them down, work these tops up. I spent the biggest part of my morning just on these two big trees. Whew. A little cool out today. Good logging weather. We figure in the 7 trees we cut, we're probably looking somewhere around 4,500 board feet. Now, if you look at these trees, I know that's a lot of footage for 7 trees, and they're big trees. But if you look at them, there's a reason these things, about every tree's got some kind of issues. They're just old trees. They're at the end of their life cycle, way past their prime. Some of them aren't even worth cutting. They've went too long, like this one here. You can see here on it, it was dying on its way out. And we're not going to cut every tree out of this pasture. We're definitely not. We're just going through here, getting these bigger ones, these old trees that need to come out. I said when I make a pile out here, this will look really good, slicked up. Later today, we'll have the skid steer grapple here. We'll work on getting these cleaned up. That's what takes so long on these trees, is getting these tops worked up real fine. Now, this is the first time I've run the grapple on the 333 since I've had it. I'm pretty sure. I don't think I put it on there before. My friend Nathan, he ran it here a couple weeks ago. I'm pretty sure I told him he was the first one to run it on here, regardless. So, big tree I cut this morning. What I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna try to get this brush out of here, and then we'll move the logs later on. But for now, I wanna try to get the brush out and piled up. And that's what we're going to work on this afternoon. Now we got all the equipment moved here. Got the skidder over, the skid steer over. Everything's here on the new job site. Wasn't too far of a move, about 8 miles. Pretty anymore. That's a pretty short move, so we're pretty happy with that. But we'll work on getting this stuff piled up, get some logs laid out. These grapples, this XHD I've had for, this is the 3rd machine it's been on. It's been a pretty good grapple. It's really hard to grapple and film. And along with reading my tripod today, I forgot my little suction cup deal for the skid steer window. So, but yeah, these grapples are a lifesaver for jobs like this, where you're working in these pastures. Cleanup is extremely essential. It takes quite a bit of time to get these tops cut up the way they need to be cut up to pile tight. But when we're done, this brush pile will really look good. So these tops are cut up real fine. Sometimes they want to do this nonsense and get hung up in there. You can see how tight all the stuff's kind of packing up in there. And we'll put several tops right there. And as big as this tree is, that's going to be pretty compact for all the top that was in it. And just like this little stuff here, what's great about these grapples, just kind of rake up the ground here. You don't want to gouge in the teeth, you just kind of want to run them on top. Rake all this stuff up in one pass. Then, got a lot of material right there. So it saves you a lot of work. And the main thing is, I love leaving things looking really good. That's one of the things I take a lot of pride in. Got a lot of dirt there, I try not to do that. So you can really leave things looking good with a skid steer and grapple, if you're doing this kind of work, which we do a lot of it. So, a few years ago when I bought that 289 Cat, I knew that having a grapple with it was very essential. Now, somebody did ask me yesterday, like when it comes to moving logs, if it was easier or faster to move logs with the grapple instead of the forks. For me, no, it's not. I don't think so. I personally think it's a lot faster moving logs with the forks. The grapple, and being rounded up like that, you more or less got to reach down and bite them. Yeah, come on now. We'll push that up here. But for me, moving logs to the grapple is not fast at all. The only times I ever move logs to the grapple is kind of like right now, and I was actually going to use the forks, but I already had the grapple on, so we decided to move some logs with it. And if you're just moving a few like I am today, it's not too bad. But if you've got a bunch up to move, like when I'm sorting out a big pile of logs, yeah, it's hands down, it's not even really feasible, I don't think. So tomorrow, hopefully I'll remember a lot of my filming equipment. See, like right there. Bounces you around. I can't really run this thing. Camera real good. Run the skid steer at the same time. So it's my fault today for getting all my forgetting all my filming equipment. Because I would have liked to have this big tree coming down on film, which luckily we've got 9 or 10 really big trees still left to cut on this job, so we'll have all the filming stuff when we cut the next bunch. Yes, sir. Pretty handy tool right there, especially for what we do. I can't say that they fit into everybody's operation, but definitely the type of logging that Dad and I do, there's a place for it with us. So a lot of treetops. That one's, I would cut it up, but I'm out of gas. So I'll have to finish cutting that one up tomorrow, but a lot of treetops there in a pretty tight pile. Piled up nice and neat. That's clean out through there. We've got a few things to trim off those two pieces there, you see. Top pieces. Got that big devil there. It wanted to be top heavy and be up in the air, so we'll use the skidder to get it down tomorrow. Yeah, nice little tight pile there with all the treetops in it. Tomorrow I'll bring my tripod, definitely, and I'll bring my suction cup mount for the window of the skid steer. We'll try to get some better video, and we've still got some pretty good trees to cut out through there. We got several of those big devils in that fence row there to pull, which a lot of them are going to fall anyway, luckily. But there's still a few of them we'll have to pull back this way to keep them away from that fence. Then there's a few big ones there you see in the distance. So we'll look at these, and these over here are big logs, but they don't look that big compared to that one in the middle, do they? Good wood. Sap's really running out of them. That's a beast of a tree. Wasn't too bad other than this little spot right here. We're starting to go bad. Excuse the terrible job of cutting. Same with these here. About all of them are starting to go bad, as you can see there. Same with that one there. Big trees. Top pieces there, those are limbs out of the big tree there that I cut. Pretty good log there. That one's got, surprisingly, it cut pretty good for having that big lightning seam running up down there. You never know about that lightning stuff. Here's the first big one I cut today. Of course, this is where it hit just right on that limb and peeled it back a little bit. Not too bad, just got into the sapwood here, which right in here is where we're going to cut it off anyway, so that worked out pretty good. We'll have a long 12-foot veneer log here. Big tree there too. Guys, thanks so much. I'm gonna unhook the trailer. I'm gonna head home. See you tomorrow. Hey guys, if you like what you see, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for all of our latest videos.